Okay, I was born in Strasburg, Colorado. I was raised in Kremling, where my parents originated from. And that was, about 1902. And I went to school in Kremling through high school. I didn't mind when I got out of the service. I came to Steamboat. My dad was mining in the coal mines, and he got me a job there, and that's where I started out. I worked in one coal mine, and that was the end of that. I didn't like the coal mines, so I went to hard rock mining. And I came to a tunnel, actually. I started out in a tunnel over by Fairplay, and that's where I got started mining, and from there on I kept going. I learned everything from School of Hard Knocks. What people taught me and all the tricks of the trade came from them. Worked in a uranium mine, and this is when I first got started. I was learning to run a jack leg and a mucker machine, and there was about 3 other guys working there besides me, and this one was a real good friend of mine, and he taught me all these things. Yeah, I've worked in some small mines and some other large mines as well. The res, the Yak Tunnel, hauling muck out, we'd haul about 3 shifts, maybe. I can't imagine how much ore we hauled, because we'd haul about 80, 90 cars a day, our shift, about 3-ton cars. So you can imagine how much ore we pulled. Mostly ore. There's some waste, but mostly ore. Then I worked at Climax for 23 years total. I worked underground 12 years underground, mining. I did stope mining, drift mining. Then I was promoted to shift boss, so I run a crew for about 10 years underground. Well, special skills, you have to know how to run the machine to drill holes for roof bolts. You have to learn to tighten the roof bolts. Same with the drift, you have the same things in the drift. You have to drill the face, you have to know how to drill around so it'll pull the ground. You have to bar down before you drill this and make sure it's safe. Thing they learn from the other miner, get them on that machine and get them started and tell them what to do and how to do it. Stay there and see that they didn't get hurt while they were learning. A few minutes they catch on, and the worst part is getting them to drill the round right so it will pull, getting their holes parallel or whatever they have to do. I had one guy show me what to do and tell me what to do, and he went off, and I had to kind of learn the hard way, but it worked out good. You learn the hard way, you don't forget. What I like best about mining was, I like drift probably better than anything, because you go in there and you drill and blast, and you see yourself going ahead all the time. Put in timber, you put it in decent, it looks good. It gives you a good feeling to do a good job. Well, I guess I like Climax probably best of all. They had good equipment, and they had ways of repairing equipment underground and surface, so that made it pretty good. Then I worked in some places where you rustle old machines for side rods and fixed your own and done things like this. So it was much better at Climax, where you had other people to help you along. Well, the equipment I used is pretty well the same. Some were improved on. Jack legs and things were made stronger and faster drilling, better machine. And then they went from track equipment to rubber tired. This was quite a change. We had a lot of rubber tired loaders, muckers, and things like this. You trammed your muck and dumped it into a chute with the mucker. One of them we had dump beds on it. You'd fill the bed and it could back up and dump into a shaft. Other than that, I think it's pretty well the same. The drilling is about the same. They did come up with a few jumbos that made it a little better, where you'd have 2 machines to drill instead of 1, and manhandling it. You could use a hydraulic system to move your machine around. Drilling and blasting, that's the biggest part of it. So that was my main job when I was mining, was to drill around and load it, shoot it, and then I mucked it up into cars, and we'd tram the cars out, trade them out or dump them, whatever the mine was equipped to do. The first time I was ever down in a mine, I wondered if I'd ever be able to find my way out. You couldn't see much with a light till you got used to one, and you kind of stumbled around and wandered back and forth across the drift, and then you wonder, now, which way is out? Deepest I've ever been down in the mine, I think, was the Irene, and that was about 1,700 feet. And the depth doesn't make any difference. If it's 2 feet or 1,700 feet, it falls on you, it's all the same thing. Yeah, safety down in the mine was pretty well enforced as much as possible. There was mostly minor accidents, and like I used to tell all my hens, it's only as safe as you make it, so watch what you're doing, you know. Of course, every month we had safety meetings. We always made reports on every safety accident and talked to the guy that had it. And I think it all helped, but still, it leads back to the person that had the accident. He usually did something wrong. Well, when I came here, it was 1960. I think the res was working, Climax was working, Gilman was working. I think they were working the tunnels, the water tunnels. There was a tunnel going at Climax. A lot of work going on, and a lot of people in town. The economy was booming. It was a completely different world to what it is now.